Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. Chinese history can be viewed as a history of struggle. Not limited to wars. For thousands of years, various forces have vied for power in the court, involving the Imperial Harem, relatives of the Empress, and eunuchs. Eunuch power has been a constant throughout history, with figures like Zhao Gao and Wei Zhongxian being particularly notorious. While some, like the mariner Zheng He, had limited influence in the court, the role of eunuchs was complex, often dismissed despite their blurred gender boundaries. During the Ming Dynasty, their power even surpassed that of official ministers. One might wonder, in over 1,000 years with so many eunuchs, was there no good eunuch? Certainly, there was, such as Chen Ju, who was revered by the people during his life and honored at his funeral, prompting reflection on his influence. Why was he so favored? This warrants exploration. Historical records show that Chen Ju was born in the northern Zhili during the reign of the Ming Emperor Jiajing, into a poor family with many siblings, leaving his parents unable to support him. Fortunately, as the saying goes, heaven does not leave people without a way out, and for children like Chen Ju, becoming a eunuch was a viable option. In ancient China, it was believed that, of the 3 unfilial acts, having no descendants is the worst, making the choice to become a eunuch particularly shameful. However, young Chen Ju faced the dire prospect of starvation, making this decision a matter of survival. Not everyone could become a eunuch, as one needed certain skills or cleverness. At the age of 9, Chen Ju met the requirements and was castrated to enter the palace. But his journey was fraught with challenges. Historians explain that becoming a eunuch in the Ming Dynasty was no simple task, even after entering the palace. One had to be assigned to various roles among 12 divisions, including the Directorate of Ceremonial, internal officials, and the Imperial service. Although Chen Ju successfully entered the palace, he faced the possibility of being assigned a lowly role, which could confine him to a lifetime of menial tasks. Despite being only 9 years old, Chen Ju's cleverness caught the eye of a senior eunuch in charge of ceremonial affairs. What is the role of the senior eunuch in charge of ceremonial affairs? Simply put, during the Ming Dynasty, there was no prime minister, and the Directorate of Ceremonial was the highest among the 12 divisions, often referred to as the inner prime minister. The senior eunuch was even more significant. In the mid to late Ming Dynasty, major state affairs were reviewed by cabinet ministers before being submitted to the emperor. Due to political turmoil, petitions flooded in, and to ease the burden, the emperor delegated the review of petitions to eunuchs. The senior eunuch then stamped these petitions with the imperial seal, effectively standing in for the emperor. This ability to handle state affairs and decide crucial matters of the realm underscored their immense power. The senior eunuch status was second only to the chief eunuch, making Chen Ju's mentor, Gao Zhong, his immediate superior. Even though at 9, Chen Ju was merely serving, his status was considerably higher than that of other young eunuchs, offering him opportunities for factionalism and even future control over state matters. However, Chen Ju chose a different path. The key lay in Chen Ju's age. He was just 9, and his mentor Gao Zhong was not only a family figure but also a life coach who significantly influenced Chen Ju's future loyalties. While Gao Zhong had a disability, he was not a malicious person. He had fought valiantly during a Tatar siege and received accolades from the emperor. Such acts of loyalty left a lasting impression on Chen Ju, solidifying his commitment to serve the nation and support the state. Under Gao Zhong's protection and guidance, Chen Ju gradually matured, assisting his mentor and the emperor in handling affairs, naturally gaining power. Although he held no official title, being close to the emperor meant that wherever he appeared, it was as if the emperor himself had arrived, commanding great respect. Local officials and citizens would bow before him. This privilege prompted many local officials and wealthy merchants to offer him gifts. And if he accepted, these stories would go unmentioned. Chen Ju, a young eunuch, neither interfered with local officials nor was harsh on the common people, earning him a good reputation both in the court and among the populace. However, the palace was rife with competition, as concubines vied for favor and eunuchs secretly competed for power. As Guangxu aged, the position of chief eunuch became coveted. On the surface, Chen Ju seemed the most qualified to succeed his mentor. But he had little interest in power struggles and never formally took on the title of chief eunuch. In the 26th year of the Wanli era, the Ming army was engaged in battles in Korea, while internal conflicts among officials intensified, complicating the situation further. Ideally, such an environment would be unsuitable for an honest eunuch like Chen Ju. But the emperor needed capable people. Chen Ju not only inherited his mentor's role as chief eunuch, but also took on significant authority in the Dongchang, a secret agency directly under the emperor, responsible for monitoring court officials and wielding power even greater than the Jinyui. It should be noted that under Chen Ju's leadership, the Dongchang maintained a relatively positive image. Since its establishment, Ming officials had lived in constant anxiety. Those imprisoned either offended the emperor or were framed by political rivals, yet few were truly irredeemable. Recognizing this, Chen Ju instructed the criminal chief of the Dongchang to treat officials kindly, personally advocating for those unjustly accused, thereby saving many lives and increasing his reputation. At first glance, Chen Ju entered the palace at a young age and seemed to have little formal education. But he was well versed in the principle of moderation, avoiding alliances with other eunuchs or corrupt officials. He appeared simple and loyal yet skillfully navigated factional disputes without angering any party. In the 31st year of the Wanli era, a storm was brewing in the capital, leading to a historical event later known as the Demon Book Incident. Chen Ju played a key role in this incident. The Demon Book Incident originated from a widely circulated pamphlet accusing the emperor's favored concubine, Zheng Guifei, of plotting to dethrone the crown prince in favor of her son. This allegation touched on the sensitive issue of national succession, directly challenging the Ming's concerns over interference from the Imperial Harem. The pamphlet spread from the 26th year of Wanli and finally caught the emperor's attention in the 31st year, involving an increasing number of people. Furious, the emperor ordered the Dongchang and Jinyui to investigate the true author of the demon books, putting significant pressure on Chen Ju as the head of the Dongchang. The incident shook the Ming dynasty, prompting officials across the land to initiate crackdowns, with harsh punishments and executions for anyone suspected. While the surface appeared calm, the court was rife with intrigue. As the Demon Book Incident escalated, various factions began to expose each other, attempting to eliminate political rivals. Ultimately, it was Chen Ju who would determine the true culprit behind the Demon Book Incident. In this context, various factions are vying to win over Chen Ju with substantial sums of money, as his words could impact the lives of thousands. Aware of the stakes, Chen Ju chooses not to hastily declare right or wrong, but instead observes the developments quietly. The struggle within the court intensifies, with Cabinet Minister Shen Li and Right Vice Minister of Rights Guangxu being successively accused, both of whom are long-standing enemies of the Chief Minister, Shen Yiguan. Chen Ju understands the truth behind the Demon Book case and, for the sake of the Ming dynasty, withstands pressure to assist Shen Li and Guangxu in their plight. Especially for Guangxu, the prince's teacher. Chen Ju's impartial enforcement of the law earns him deep admiration from the prince. Looking at today, the Demon Book case is merely an excuse for factional struggles. If this uproar continues indefinitely, it will undoubtedly cause widespread panic among the populace, leaving no one willing to serve and mend the nation. Thus, the judicial institutions represented by the Ministry of Justice, the Supreme Court, and the Supervisory Bureau, along with officials at all levels, wished to swiftly quell the matter and find a scapegoat. Chen Ju aims to conclude the demon book case soon. But he knows he cannot wrong the loyal and good. Ultimately, the true culprit is placed upon a scholar, knowing well he cannot cause such a great uproar. But this action ends the storm and minimizes the damage. It can be said that by resolving the demon book case, Chen Ju effectively saved millions, earning the gratitude of officials and citizens alike, who even referred to him as Buddha. In the 34th year of Wanli, nearing his 70s, Chen Ju reached the pinnacle of power, being promoted to Grand Eunuch of the Grand Court of Ceremony, also overseeing the Eastern Depot. Theoretically, Chen Ju held real power and could intervene in governance or supervise officials, yet he chose to act with discretion. Under his rule, the Eastern Depot appeared calm, as if the Ming dynasty had never established such an institution, restoring rare peace and prosperity in the capital. In the 35th year of Wanli, Chen Ju passed away, causing widespread mourning throughout the Ming dynasty. The emperor granted special rites at 9 altars, burying him with Buddhist ceremonies and bestowing a plaque of pure loyalty. On the day of his funeral, the streets of the capital were filled with tens of thousands of mourners, with 3 prominent scholars chanting rituals, while officials and citizens voluntarily carried the coffin to the burial site. The affection people held for him stemmed from his countless acts of assistance during his life, not merely his power. Such grand ceremonies are indeed a historical rarity. By common logic, as Chen Ju was castrated and entered the palace at a young age, he would have no descendants. Even if he did many good deeds in life, he would find it difficult to be honored after death. However, historical records indicate that Chen Ju's tablet is enshrined in the imperially granted Guild Hall at Dongchang, with a steady stream of visitors paying their respects for centuries. And even today, people continue to pray for him. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.